Hello and welcome back to your personal code of conduct. This is Dio, and as usual, I won't say as usual, but this is a late recording because I have no plots, even no plots than usual, and I feel like this podcast is going to devolve into what it normally devolves into when I have no plots. Guess what? A conversation with myself about the pointlessness of existence, while also being terrified, not being fat. Yeah, those are the two things that bother me, pointlessness. And I think right now I have kind of been living on a never-ending search for dopamine. I think maybe that's what I've been looking for. That's what I want. I just want feel good hormones to just flood my mind. And I'm obviously doing it in the worst way possible, which is with food and things. There's nothing really that I crave to eat. And when I do, I just force myself to eat it and binge. I don't think I eat so much. I'm thinking maybe the paranoia around me eating is terrifying me. But anyway, this weekend I realized how little time it takes to do the things I'm always putting off and saying that I'll do it next week and I'll do it later, or this is it's taking too much of my time. Then when I do these things and I do a bunch of other things and I realize it wouldn't have taken that much time, and I left with all this free time that I wasted on dopamine. So my current plan is to just decide, if something crosses my mind, I should do it immediately. Don't give yourself room to second guess. Don't give yourself room to reason it. And terrible thing is the only time I actually not the only time. Things I do this for what do you call it? For decisions that are good for me in the long term, only 20% of the time. But for decisions that are terrible for me in the bad term, I do that 80% of the time. So it's when if something is terrible for me in the long term, I don't wait to reason it, I just do it, because I know that my brain will talk me out of it if it's a dumb decision. Okay, but if it's a good decision, I will talk myself out of it because of stupid excuses, and I'm fuck it, aren't you supposed to be swapped? But anyway, this is about the pointlessness of it all. I was having I thought of somebody that was very close to me that died a couple of years back, and I looked at sometimes I randomly think about their life history, and I think that's my frame of reference as to everything's pointless and we are unimportant, because having somebody close and dear to you struggle for goals are all arbitrary, but for goals, for deciding that this is something that would make them happy, and to fail every single time and to be strapped with people, it's just terrifying. I think I need to get rid of that. Maybe that is my mental blocker in what is preventing me from truly trying, in getting myself out and deciding this is my ambition, this is where I'm trying to be, this is what I'm trying to do, this is the amount of effort I'm willing to put in, these are my boundaries, these are whatever. Maybe it's that irrational. I know from the beginning of this podcast, my goal in the end, I don't know if I remember to say it exactly, is 1, stoicism in the way that I treat others. Hedonism, structured hedonism, stoicism in the way I treat others. Structured hedonism in the decisions I make for myself, balancing short-term pleasure with long-term prosperity. Ubuntu in the way I intend to position myself in society, understanding that I am a part of a society and I'm not separate from that society. But being part of a society doesn't separate from my own individualism, and understanding that I want to spread positivity in that society. And then finally, I think because stoicism helped me think about how I relate with other people, and I think it has worked so well. Like, I remember one time I come on here complain about like, oh, what I think people are thinking, or aha, I think people are going to pay. I genuinely do not care. I want to be considerate. I want to be responsible, but I have my moments where I'm like, okay, this is what is more comfortable for me and doesn't affect people in the long run, so I will do this. Or this is what is the most comfortable for me and it may affect several people, but I have to ask myself, is my selfishness more important than this group? If it is, then I'll do what is best for me. And I think my stoicism and my decisions and like my relationship with other people has like improved. Like, I no longer go into like dramatic rants or okay, how am I perceived by people? I don't think I just realized that I haven't like gone into a dramatic rant on how I'm perceived by people in a couple of months, and I've made peace with like understanding that okay, I should do what is needed of me. I may like break and decide to just want to do the most selfish thing possible sometimes, but I need to limit those amount of times that happen because I live in a society with other people. You share space with people. And while you should, as much as like for me getting and not and blowing out like 230,000 extra on not okay not 230,000 extra, like I'm blowing 200,000 extra and to ensure that I have my own room space, even though it's a box. And to be honest, I'd have a whole lot more space to myself if I was sharing with somebody, but like blowing out like an extra 200,000 on room space is like, oh, okay, it's like something to contribute to my selfishness, like not like randomly doing weird activities in the middle of the day, running up and down, mumbling to myself, being weird, general, something I wouldn't be comfortable to do with a roommate. And fuck, and I'm like that's I'm like, I wish I have a bigger room so I don't even have to like do that in communal areas. I have more space to move and be weird and to lift. Oh, it'd be so nice to like sleep early and wake up in the morning to lift rather than going to a gym after work where I just want to relax and stretch. But like, oh, and I still haven't like found a proper structure of a diet. I have it in my head, which is going to be like very seasoned vegetables, some carbs, and a lot of protein. I'm working on that. And but I think one thing that I should seriously work on is portion control. I eat too much, like too much. And that is what is preventing me from being as lean as I'd like to be. I'm eating more than... The thing is, I always eat as if like the food is not still going to be there, because I find the whole process of eating stressful. How I explain? Eating is like, I want to get this once and I don't want to do it for a very long time. I eat when food is great. I do eat for pleasure, but like the activity of eating is stress. I'd rather just eat a lot in one sitting and not eat at all for a while. But the thing, it doesn't work that way. You get hungry eventually later in another time. So it's best to eat smaller quantities, I think, depending on how it works. I don't know, depending on how your body works. I don't know, man. But one thing I did achieve this weekend was to cook again. And I feel like if my magical work from homes in the middle of the week happens, I'd be so grateful if it does. If it does, I will, what's the word? I'd eat, okay, I think I'd eat so much healthier. Because I don't like buying food or everybody's food drenched in oil. Oh, it's not properly seasoned, and I'm like, oh. So I'm excited for tomorrow's breakfast. It's a vibe. I'm going to be breakfast and lunch. I think I'm going to do lunch and try as much as possible to get food in, get fruits, stay healthy and active for the entire day, then get dinner, have energy, move, run. I want to get leaner. But I think it's not really leaner. I want to feel energetic. I don't want to feel lethargic. I don't want to feel tired. I want to feel strong and fast. But I don't want to... That's why, like, yesterday when I went skipping... This is just a random talking. Yesterday when I went skipping, and the breeze was blowing my face. It was fantastic, and I was like, imagine if I was running. It'd be so cool. It'd be such a vibe. Imagine if I was running like around a field. It'd be such a vibe. The whole thing is just funny to me. But I have been skipping on the dental hygiene, kind of. But I'm trying to create a routine, but it's very difficult to do that in Lagos. I need a giant water bottle. I need to drink more water. But I'm too, drinking water is also the same thing as eating. I'd rather have it in all with me. And I'm like, Dad, just go buy that giant water bottle. No excuse, just go buy it. Don't reason the price. You really want it. You want to use it to improve your schedule. Put that order in on Jumia and buy it. Maybe we should make the order right now. Fuck, that's the thing. My card. Don't want to start putting financial information. That's stressful. But maybe you should just make the order right now. Because you don't know where else to buy it. Okay, actually, you do know where else to buy a giant water bottle, which would be just right. Or an actual supermarket. Because buying things online are just needlessly expensive. Now this is already turning into random. I was talking about the pointlessness of it all. The thing is, sometimes I'm scaling up, and scaling up just terrifies me because it reminds me of one random page in this manhua. I think it was a Hong Kong Chinese comic. Loud background. It was a Hong Kong Chinese comic, and it had the main character obviously ascended to godhood, yada yada yada, the regular thing, defeated Tian and all this kind of stuff. But there was a character, there was an evil person that made a point to, because the guy used to be a warrior. He was a good guy. There was a good guy who used to be a warrior and decided to settle down. He lost a lot of muscle mass and opened a dumpling shop. And one of his old warrior buddies, I don't know, they came and attacked the shop and ruined it, and he couldn't fight the guy back. And I wanted to make fun of him, obviously our hero came and destroyed the bad guy. I was like, yada yada yada. But what he said made a lot of sense, and it's a big source of human insecurity. Sometimes you don't have big ambitions, you just want stability. But the thing is, the big things that the big guys are off being, the thing that the big guys are off being irresponsible. Imagine I should just go accidentally click buy on iPhone 13 here. I'm scrolling through Jumia. But the things that the big guys are randomly just doing because things that the big guys are just doing because I don't even know what I'm saying. They can just ruin your whole life. And I understand how wealthier people can be vain. Wealthier people can be incredibly vain. Because I remember it wasn't a random video, it was a good video. It was a video about what was the video about? Yeah, it's one of those feminist videos. But it's not even just one of them, but it was a feminism video, and it was being very disappointed in feminists who believe other people were brainwashed. The thing is, people often make the most anti-feminist choice that might lead to their own suffering, their own whatever, and even if they are brainwashed, it doesn't give you the rights. Because I know I've mentioned it to somebody. I'm not somebody, I mentioned it on here, where I was somebody might go oh, your ignorance is equal to my Like, don't be thinking your ignorance is equal to, because in the grand scheme of things, it is. That person might destroy the groundwork of society, and you might take us, and people who follow your ideology might take us to like flying cars and interspace travel, and that other person might take us to stone ages and rape and torture. But in the grand scheme of human history, that's just what people do. We've destroyed so many opportunities for progress, and I'm thinking like we're probably going to do that again and throw ourselves back. Then use a couple thousand years to drive ourselves forward, then throw ourselves back again. But either way, the next forward will be much farther than the last forward. Like, because sometimes you'd be like, oh, if certain empires or certain contacts or certain technology went to so and so way, if they did not fall, if so much knowledge was not lost, if people didn't torture people, if people didn't decide that this is how they are going to run things and this is how they are going to take charge of other people's happiness, or if they decide like if religions weren't popping up every 5 seconds, if people were not, I don't know, they have some kind of mental delusions of grandeur where they randomly tell themselves that, ooh, seriously, sardine at 370 Black Friday deal, you'd want to buy a whole case of this thing. Wow. I want to buy floss, so like 20 pieces of 6-pack. Oh, I'm just so lazy, man. Dentafloss. But stuff on here is just needlessly expensive, Jerry. Giant water bottle. See me trying to talk big, and I don't know, but it feels like it's all meaningless, and that was what terrifies me, because like, as much as I'd like to do like optimistic nihilism, where like you accept that like, everything is pointless, and like, and the same way people choose to do evil, you want to choose good in that way. Like, why not just do what's best for your society? But then again, I think that also allows room to be I don't know, man. I don't know. I just want peace. No, I don't know if I've been truly happy, like for the first time in a fucking while, because I'm not sure what happiness is. Is it like, for me personally, like where I'm currently living my life, happiness is the search for dopamine, either reading questionable novels, wasting time, or like being weird, reading questionable novels, engaging in activities that mass produce dopamine, like eating and whatnot. Emphasis on the whatnot. And you're just like, oh, okay, like these are activities that don't involve people, and non-tiring because people are tiring, that encourages dopamine. And I'm like, I need more of those activities, but it has gotten to the point where you decide, no, I feel sick and gross because this is not hitting spots. You just sometimes, not that like I'm suicidal 99% of the time. I'm not. I'm just like, sometimes you just like sleep for all of eternity and don't exist, because existence, I think the whole existence is torture thing comes from people in the middle, I guess, or maybe people up top, people who are not suffering, because you have problems, but they're not life ruining, body endangering, all ending problems. So you have time to what is the word I'm looking for? It's definitely not like create hypothesis. It's like, it's the word like inward looking, reflect. I don't know. I shall use the word a lot of times in my older podcast. It's the opportunity just to look inwards, and oftentimes you're looking into the darkness of your soul, like, why? And people, and I know I've mentioned this definitely before, a lot of people find all sorts of reasons to be there why. they just go and find a why. However it is they find one, they go and find a why and they accept it. And there are some people that I'm like, are you sure this is your why, or your why is just controlling people? Your why is just making people miserable, and you're using other people's why to control them. I'm talking about like religious leaders of all shades and shape. And the thing is that they all come with a varying level of power, and that's the one thing. Like this reminds me of like Xiang novels in general, when the hero, which is basically every fucking human, feels so horrible, yada 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 yada, is somebody in his clan, defeats that guy, goes to the sect, is somebody in the small sect, defeats that guy, goes to the opposite. So it's like, think about it like, oh, it's like some small town. But the thing is, I feel like, okay, with the Xia protagonist, you know the protagonist is going to survive. But like, it's kind of insulting when you meet somebody really fucking cool. I got killed by like a small town religious leader that I got a bunch of, like, this is very classist what I'm about to say. I got a bunch of people whose parents probably didn't understand, like they're malnourished. This is very classist, like I mentioned. Malnourished, underfed, unwanted children whose only hope and dedication and wanting of meaning and happiness in this life was religion. And some small town preacher used them to stone, torture, and rape you. That's just fucking ugh. But in the end, those lives are just, I think that's the main reason why religion was formed. Because sometimes, like, when I see like all the free time I have, yeah, including the whole, because I'm not even counting my mind numbing, is my like the mind numbing aspects of like not doing things properly because you don't care again, which is like horrible, and that is not Dio. And I want to be patient and be efficient and not make mistakes and to do things properly and neatly. And I don't know, man. When you find yourself in like multiple situations and you're asking yourself like you ask yourself why are you not doing more to improve yourself? Why are you not doing more to take opportunities to seize the day, to be there for yourself, to provide for yourself, and to look for opportunities for growth? Like, you haven't properly decided what does your career trajectory look like. And I think, Dayo, you're going to be 25 in a month. And it's time for you to stop going with the flow, I think. I don't know. I know this thing bothers me. Let me just put it out there. One time I said something horrible and mean to someone, and I randomly see the person on social media, because I know the person randomly called me. I was like, oh, okay, like, what do you do? And I was like, was this person wishing for my downfall? Does this person have it out for me? Like, I don't get, like, is mentally humiliating this person something that burned into their mind constantly? And the thing is that I knew what I said was in retaliation for something she said, and everybody let me go because I was known for being nice and she was known for being a bitch, kind of. But like, it was a very low blow, and I knew that I had probably created a core memory. It was also a core memory for me because I've never said something that mean before. I've never even thought something that mean. I just wanted to say something horrible to her eventually. And the thing is, the thing that made me feel bad, or made me feel casual, or made me feel irritated was, I didn't even remember it, and I still don't remember it. But the thing that made me have it out for her, that made me especially want to say something terrible to her, I don't remember it. Yeah. Actually, I don't. But I feel like in that moment I was justified, and the thing is, I wasn't satisfied in the way I made her feel. It's still very out of character for me to be terrible to somebody like that. It's still very not my style. Still very something that I would never do, because I don't even like people like that. Not to talk of like being around them and wanting to call enough to know them enough to want to cause suffering on purpose. Because when I was obsessed with one person, I just wanted that one person and no other person. But the thing is, and I guess we're obsessed with people like one person at a time, and I don't remember all the other people that came before that person. And sometimes if somebody is kind of obsessed with me or wants, I'm not interested. I don't know. And I have a 100% very fake dead smile a lot, because it is kind of dead, because my joviality, my amusement and everything, it is there, but it's not as strong as I make it appear. My interest in your conversation, my interest in your existence as a person is just not as strong as I make it appear. But I think it's important. Like, I think I don't want to do the human thing where when you feel something is antisocial, you are like, oh, it is kind of social. Everybody does that. It's a very human thing to do. Like, when you feel something is kind of wrong, you want to convince yourself that everybody does that. But like, maybe people don't do that. Maybe people are genuinely interested in each other, and yeah, this was a plotless episode, and sometimes pointlessness keeps me up at night. What is my current dream? My current dream is 100 billion naira. Let me just Google that. I'm still thinking naira, because a lot of the things I want to buy are like in this country. Let me look. 100 billion naira to dollars. Why is this thing taking so long to load? Maybe at the 100. Oh, okay, I didn't write. It's just billion. That is 100. Wow, we're poor in Nigeria. Like this is like the official rate, but like 100 billion naira is just $226 million. Just, but like, I don't know. And 1 billion naira is just $2 million. Ayeti baje. So 1 billion naira cannot really do anything. 1 billion naira can't do shit. Fuck. 1 billion naira cannot do shit. 1 billion naira cannot do shit. $500 million. But the thing is, I don't have. Okay, let me just see. The goal is $50 million in my lifetime. I think $50 million should be more than enough to do every possible thing that I could want to do. But the thing is, let me use myself. A lot of the things that I want to do now, I couldn't even conceptualize it in my mind in my previous place of employment. While some of them might pinch me, like right now, there are things I do regularly, and I'm like, I feel like that's very financially irresponsible. But so I have a lot more financial security than I used to. But having a lot more financial security, you also understand that, okay, these are things that I couldn't think about, and I was like putting myself in a path of straight misery when I kept on thinking about that side. But this way, oh well, I have nothing to say. It has been a personal code of conduct. Have a productive day. So I just pause in the middle. So yeah, I want a nice villa. Villas are expensive, because like when I look at $1 million homes in like really expensive countries, $1 million doesn't do anything. Like, we're all getting poorer in this world, man. Well, it has been a personal code of conduct. Have a productive week. Now I think I've successfully depressed myself for the oncoming week. Fuck. Bye.